the chains they tried to forge. They came from the stars, not with peace, but with purpose. The Galactic Empire's flagship, a silver leviathan stretching miles long, slipped into Earth's orbit like a blade into flesh. Cities across the globe looked up and saw it blot out the stars, a silent declaration of dominance. Within hours, every screen on the planet flickered, hijacked by a single transmission. A being appeared, tall, serpentine, its voice a smooth rasp, translated across languages. People of Earth, your planet is now under the protection and jurisdiction of the Galactic Empire. You are designated as Class 4 organic labor units. Resist, and you will be corrected. Submit, and you shall be preserved. Preserved. The word echoed in war rooms from Washington to Moscow, across UN chambers, bunkers, parliament halls. The first contact with extraterrestrial life, something humanity had dreamed of, was not an invitation. It was a verdict. Some leaders trembled. Others conferred in panicked whispers. The calculus was simple. Earth could not match an interstellar empire. Survival meant surrender. But not everyone agreed. The resistance didn't begin with governments. It started in the streets, in the rage of people watching their skies darken, in the fists clenched by dock workers, miners, and medics, and in one coastal town in Ghana, where the empire made its first move. At dawn, sleek transport ships descended on Cape 3 Points. No warning, no negotiation. Soldiers in obsidian armor marched through the fishing village, corralling civilians like cattle. Screams pierced the morning air. Children were stunned unconscious, old men beaten for slowing the line. The entire population, over 1,000, was shackled and lifted into orbit within 20 minutes. It was streamed live. To them, it was a demonstration, a calculated move to instill fear. But it backfired. That day, humanity didn't break. It ignited. The footage spread faster than their firewalls could suppress. Every nation, every feed, every dark corner of the net carried the same image. A mother trying to reach her child before being pulled into the sky. That was the last straw. In Tokyo, subway workers welded hidden compartments into train stations. In Johannesburg, ex-soldiers began drilling again. Across Europe, garage inventors and hackers pulled all-nighters, cracking the empire's satellite codes. In Siberia, two rival warlords buried their feud and burned their flags, choosing one symbol instead, Earth. The governments followed, quietly at first, then in full. In a sealed chamber beneath NORAD, a joint Earth Council was formed, military, scientific, civilian. Not to plead, not to bargain, but to resist. General Lena Marquez, a veteran of 3 wars, said it best. We didn't ask for this war, but we won't kneel. Let them think we're weak. Let them think we'll break. Then let them choke on the fire we bring. Above, the Empire's fleet hovered, patient and smug. They thought they'd broken us with fear. All they'd done was wake a planet built to fight. We were never meant to bow. The Empire expected disarray. They thought humans would panic, argue, crumble under the weight of inevitability. After all, that's what most species did. Fear was supposed to divide. But on Earth, it forged unity. In an abandoned research station deep in the Rockies, General Lena Marquez stared at a flickering holomap. Dots representing known enemy patrols blinked red. Resistance cells, unmarked and mobile, were spreading like wildfire. This isn't a war of armies, she said, addressing the room of generals, engineers, and insurgents. It's a war of shadows, a Death World's kind of war. In Sao Paulo, rebels hijacked an Empire supply drone, reprogrammed it mid-flight, and redirected it to crash into a command relay tower in the Andes. In Lagos, a cyber warfare team embedded a virus into the Empire's orbital logistics array, flooding their system with phantom troop movements. For 10 hours, the invaders scrambled ships across the globe chasing ghosts. By week 2, resistance was global, uncoordinated but relentless. Until a breakthrough. In a scorched field outside Warsaw, scavengers stumbled on a downed Empire Recon probe. Instead of destroying it, they smuggled it into a secure underground lab where linguists, coders, and mechanics dissected it piece by piece. What they discovered changed everything. Signal routing, propulsion, targeting logic. It's not magic. It's just tech, muttered one engineer, awestruck. Complicated as hell, but built by hands. Breakable. Humanity's greatest advantage wasn't firepower. It was creativity under pressure. Soon, makeshift workshops and black labs emerged in basements, caves, even moving trains. Farmers became drone riggers. Hackers became weapons designers. 3D printers hummed day and night, replicating salvage components into something new, something human. The Empire noticed. Cities that buzzed with rebellion were targeted. First was Seoul, then Berlin, then Lima. Orbital strikes came like thunder from a merciless sky. Fast, surgical, devastating. Civilian centers turned to ash. Entire neighborhoods vaporized. Millions lost. Still, Earth didn't fold. Broadcast from the ruins painted a picture the Empire couldn't comprehend. Firefighters digging through rubble. Survivors lifting each other up. Children singing in bunkers lit by solar lamps. Hope burned brighter than the craters left behind. Then came the message. A coordinated transmission cut through every frequency. TVs, radios, satellite feeds, even the Empire's private channels. A montage of Earth, scarred cities, rallying crowds, flags stitched together, hands gripping weapons, faces defiant. The voice was unmistakably human. You offered us chains. We give you war. You called us assets. We are soldiers. We are not yours to break. We are Earth, and we are coming for you. In orbit, the Empire's high command watched the broadcast in silence. Their commander, Ziritan Thol, sneered. Primitive fire. Nothing more. But one of his tacticians, a junior analyst from a recently subjugated world, shook his head slowly. No, he whispered. That's not fire. That's fury. Earth had drawn its line. Not in diplomacy. Not in surrender. In blood. Welcome to the death world. When the first drop pod screamed through Earth's atmosphere, the Empire believed it was over. Tactical ground forces, armored, genetically enhanced, veterans of 1,000 planetary conquests, descended with precision. Their orders were clear. Subdue the surface, neutralize resistance, and secure population centers for processing. But Earth wasn't like the other worlds they'd conquered. This one fought back, with claws, teeth, and ingenuity sharpened by centuries of war and survival. In the Amazon, the dense canopies swallowed dropships whole. Marines who disembarked were never seen again. The jungle, home to predators evolved on a timeline steeped in brutality, made no distinction between alien and prey. Parasitic insects bored through sealed armor. Giant serpents crushed exosuits. But it wasn't just nature. It was humans. Guerrilla fighters in camo dipped in mud moved like ghosts, striking with poisoned darts, explosive traps, and old-fashioned machetes. They used the forest the way a sniper uses cover. Every root, every shadow, every beast. In the Arctic Circle, a battalion of Empire troopers landed to secure a geothermal relay site. They were met with silence and cold. 40 below zero. Their heaters failed within hours, corrupted by Earthborn malware delivered via intercepted signal. Night fell fast. Winds howled like wolves. Human scouts on snowmobiles harassed the camp, sniping from ridgelines before disappearing into white. By morning, only 2 aliens remained alive. They were found frozen, still clutching their plasma rifles, eyes wide open in disbelief. In New York, what was left of it? Urban warfare turned savage. The city's skyline had been shattered by orbital strikes, but the underground still lived. Subway tunnels, parking garages, sewers, all repurposed into labyrinths of ambush and death. Firebombs rained from rooftops. Traps hidden in wreckage shredded armored patrols. One squad commander, pinned down in an abandoned library, screamed into comms. They're using books for cover. These animals fight with garbage and rage. And they did. Every shattered wall was a potential sniper's nest. Every building wired to explode. Every civilian an informant, or killer. Empire's soldiers began to fear the ground they walked on. Even their machines rebelled. Drones were hijacked mid-flight. Comma rays blade human war songs before erupting in static. A tank division in Nairobi was immobilized after its own auto-navigation system looped it into a canyon filled with mines. Humanity didn't just resist. It adapted, evolved, outthought. General Marquez, watching real-time feeds of battles around the globe, leaned over a dusty table in an underground command center and spoke into the camera. You invaded the one planet where everything fights to live. Even the dirt under your feet wants you dead. She paused, then added, "Welcome to the death world." The reckoning they never saw coming. The Empire made one fatal mistake. They believed resistance was Earth's final card. It wasn't. The longer the war dragged on, the more humanity evolved. What began as scattered defiance had become something far more dangerous. A unified, global counteroffensive. Coordinated cells across continents began operating like a single organism. Hive intelligence fueled not by genetics, but desperation, vengeance, and raw ingenuity. Earth wasn't merely surviving. It was preparing to strike back. It began with Project Eclipse. Hidden beneath the ruins of a Siberian mining complex, scientists and scavengers, many of them civilians, assembled something impossible. Using salvaged Empire tech, human drones, and a nuclear reactor taken from a downed submarine, they constructed a launch platform. Not to send a message, to send a weapon. A prototype warhead, reverse-engineered from an Empire energy core and modified with Earth's nastiest nuclear payload, was loaded into a hybrid missile system. Fast, small, undetectable. Target: the Empire's orbital command station. On launch day, General Marquez stood in the cold wind outside the silo. She didn't smile. She didn't give a speech. She just gave the nod. The missile screamed into the sky. Empire orbital sensors registered it seconds too late. The command station's shields were calibrated for plasma fire. Not kinetic, not nuclear. The warhead pierced the hull like a dagger, detonating deep inside. The explosion split the station open like a rotten fruit. Command collapsed. Fleet coordination shattered. Half of the orbiting ships lost contact with central control and began colliding, drifting, panicking. Earth skies lit up with fire as alien vessels fell like meteors into oceans and deserts. On the ground, resistance forces surged. No more hiding. Now they hunted. In Beijing, captured walkers were used to breach an enemy base and capture dozens of officers. In Chicago, resistance fighters stormed a cloning facility, freeing alien prisoners from subjugated worlds and arming them. Rebellion spread beyond Earth. The subjugated began to rise. News of Earth's retaliation traveled across black market frequencies and hijacked broadcasts. Enslaved species who had known only defeat saw something they had never seen before. Victory. In orbit, the remnants of the Empire fleet began a retreat. A slow, stunned withdrawal. They had expected easy labor. A world of broken wills and bent knees. Instead, they had faced a planet built for war, shaped by struggle, united by fury. In her final address to the world, General Marquez stood on a makeshift platform made from the wreckage of an enemy gunship. Smoke still curled in the distance. The air tasted like ash and ozone. She looked into the camera and said, "They came for slaves. They got a war instead." She paused, then added, "And if they ever come back, we won't just fight. We'll go to them." Humanity had not only defended its home, it had declared itself to the stars, not as prey, but as the newest predator.